So for this next project, what we're going to do is we are going to learn how to combine two images into one file. So this is the project that is posted in Google Classroom, and there's a bunch of different images to go with it. These are the directions that you'll look at in Photoshop, which we'll go over in a minute. And then these are the images that I chose for my project. So I ended up finding a mountain, and currently for this mountain image, it has a blue sky background, and I ended up changing it so it has more of a dynamic sunset sky background. So you'll see here, these are two images, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine them into one. And then as you can see here, this is a looping animation so that you can see what that new image looks like. For this project, you are not turning in a GIF. For this project, you are turning in a JPEG, and that's what it says right here. So the project needs to be lastnameimage.jpg. All right, so to get started, what we are going to do is you should have saved two images off of the internet before you get started in Photoshop. I do not have those directions on this handout because these are directions that you should have already known how to do based on old projects. If you are unsure how to do it, you can scroll down into previous project posts and you can find videos as well as worksheets which show you how to save a high-res image off of the internet. What you should do is you should find two images that are really interesting to look at, just like, for instance, I chose jagged mountains with a darker sky, and I replaced it with a more bright sky. Your artwork could also be surreal, so you could do a solar system in the background. It doesn't need to be realistic. So right here it says Getting Started in Photoshop. Open Adobe Photoshop, go to File, Open, Desktop, Your Folder. Click on the image that is your background, and then open it. So I already have my project open in Photoshop, and it's right here, the mountains. The directions say that I should double click on this lock to unlock my layer. So again, I'm double clicking, and I'm going to name this Mountain, and press OK. So double click to unlock your background layer. We just did that. Now using the eraser, erase the current sky from this layer. A helpful tip, use the Shift key to create a straight line. Once we are all done, we're going to save it as last name image. So I'm going to Control+ zoom in, and here's my eraser, and I'm going to begin to erase. Do you see how it's showing a checkerboard background? That lets me know that I did unlock this layer. If I chose not to unlock this layer, so do you see it looks like this? If I go to erase, it's erasing what looks like white, but it's actually not. It's painting it white. So let me switch this so you can see. If I have black, do you see how I'm erasing black? So this is not good. So you need to make sure that you double click to unlock. So again, you should be seeing this checkerboard background. What that means is there's a transparency. When you are erasing, it's better to leave, I'm sorry, not leave, but to cut in a little bit on the area that you're erasing. So I am cutting in a little bit on the mountain. If I leave a little bit of a sky outline, do you see how that's creating a sky outline right here? If I leave that, it's not going to look that good. So I'm going to Control+ zoom in. I'm going to make my brush a little bit smaller, and I'm clicking once and then holding that Shift key. Do you see how it's drawing a straight line from that last point that I made? Okay. If you're not sure how to do this, I would practice. So again, I click once. Now holding the Shift key, I click somewhere else. And every time I click, it draws a straight line to that spot. And that will allow you to make your artwork look a little bit cleaner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Shift click around the edge of this mountain. And I'm using the space bar to easily navigate. And then once I'm done Shift clicking all of this, then I can go back with a larger eraser and erase that sky. If you don't like a certain step that you've done with your eraser, remember you go back up in your history and you simply undo it. Do not try and fix your mistakes. You can just go in your history and undo your mistake. All right, so I'm getting close to the edge here, I think. And you guys won't be working as fast. I'm just working quickly so that you guys can see the whole project. All right, so here's the edge. So now I'm doing Control 0 to do fit to page. I'm using my bracket to make a larger circle. And then I can go in and I can start to clean up the rest of the sky. So I've gotten rid of the sky in my background. So now I'm going to go up and do File, Save As, and navigate to my folder. And I'm naming it last name, which is Farrell image. And I'm leaving it as a PSD because remember, PSD files mean that they're layered files, and we need this to stay layered or transparent so that sky shows up. So I've done all of the getting started. Now I'm moving on to adding my sky. So I'm going to go up to File, Open, navigate to my folder, and open my sky image. And here is my sky image, and I'll name it correctly, sky. So here's my sky image. Now what I need to do is Control A, which is select all, and I should see marching ants going around the edge of my image. Then Control C, copy, and then I need to notice the tabs on the top of my screen, and I need to click on the tab that I want to add my sky to. Control V, paste. So Control A, I see marching ants. Control C, nothing's really happened except this image has been saved to the clipboard. And now I can go up here to this other tab, and now I can do Control V, and there is my sky. I'm going to move it up so it's to the top, and then you see that this sky is in front of my mountains, which means it's covering it up. So I'm going to move my mountains to the top and my sky below. If for some reason my image was a little too big or too small, I do Control T, Control 0, and then I can scale it how I would like. So I can drag this up so that I can see more of the sunset, or I can drag it down. I want to drag it up so that I get a little bit more color in my image. And then there's my sky. So in your Layers menu, move the sky layer so it is below your image. Mountain, sky. That's what we just did. Control T to change it, and then we want to save our work. File. I like doing Save As because it shows that this is my folder. That's where I want to save to. Now, because you did a lot of work already with the sky, you could also add other elements to your artwork. So you could add an image of yourself, other detail images. I could even, if I wanted to, change my sky background to be more of like a universe image. So let me open a new tab, put solar system, and I could create image. I don't like those. Maybe Milky Way. So just to kind of show you, I could put a totally different image in here very easily. So I think the more surreal, unrealistic, or dreamlike you get with this project, I think the better it becomes. So think about what you could do within your work to make it more interesting. I have these hikers down here that are looking up to what looks like the sky. So which one is more interesting to look at? And hopefully whatever you're adding in Photoshop makes it look better. So let me go back to the steps. How to use layers. So this talks to you about layers. This talks to you about changing the size of an object. This talks to you about other tools that might be helpful. And then this shows you the project images. So this shows you what we've done. Once you believe you're ready to save, then go ahead and do it. I don't have save directions in here because at this point I'm hoping you can do it on your own. So what you are doing is File, Save As. Again, I'm saving my most recent Photoshop document. And I'm always pressing the positive, which is okay. And I'm doing yet another Save As, and I'm changing it to a JPEG, which means it's flattening it, making sure this is at the highest resolution, and I'm pressing OK. And now if I want to see my work, I can open it. And you see it says feraleimage.jpg, and look at that, it's only one layer. If I come here, it's feraleimage.psd, and look at that, it's multiple layers. So if you wanted, definitely you have to turn in a JPEG, but if you want, you could turn in multiple skies. You could even change out this front image here to be a cityscape. Be creative with it. Or if you wanted, you all know how to do a timeline and do create video timeline. Click on the 3 squares, and we could duplicate this, and we could turn on, I guess I only need 2. And we could have it looping for fun. The JPEG is what's graded, but this is for fun if you want to show me a bunch of different skies in the background. All right, that is what you are working on. If you finish early, then that means you should probably go back and double check your work, make sure it looks good. Think about adding different skies or details, or just starting a whole new project using these same ideas.